Braver Victory contains support for Ancient Gear, Battle Wisp, Trains, Dracos Lair, Gimmick Puppet, Infernoid, Insector, Mech Knight, Metal Foes, Crawler, and some other stuff. Mech Knights are perhaps the best archetype in this box. Capable of being a meta contender, the deck can make really consistent and strong negate boards making use of the column mechanic when going first, and get extra searches from Blue Sky and spam big Mech Knights when going second. Although the deck isn't too hard to counter when their full negate board isn't properly set up yet, especially when going second, it becomes extremely difficult to beat when there is a Mech Knight in all three columns. The deck is also fairly cheap because all of the Mech Knight cards you need come from this box. Infernoids can consistently make a negate turn 1 with Decatron copying your boss monster's effect, and can make really explosive plays depending on the playstyle you prefer. Some builds play a more controlled version using Void Feast to special summon from the deck, and some explosive builds use milling effects like the Light Sworn engine to fill up the graveyard for banish fodder. The deck is also a really strong counter to graveyard decks because all of the lower-level Infernoids can banish cards from the opponent's graveyard. The deck still has some weaknesses, most notably being very vulnerable to disruptions and back row removal when going second. The Dracos Lair engine can be used alongside a lot of other pendulum archetypes, which make the deck very versatile. The deck also has consistent access to card removal using Ignister Prominence. Dracos Lairs have a lot of potential, and it will require some time for players to find an optimized build for the deck. Not only did Metal Foes receive a really good main deck monster that gives the deck a much better follow-up, they can also use the new Dracos Lair support to make the deck more consistent and make more explosive plays. Metal Foes were already quite a decent deck even before the new support, and the new cards they got may possibly bring them back in the meta. Ancient Gears and Battle Wisps got more support that make both decks more consistent and give them a better boss monster. Both decks are still not competitive, but the cards in this box are essential if you want to build these two decks. Trains and Gimmick Puppets have a new Link 2 monster to boost their consistency and follow-up, especially for Gimmick Puppets. Chimera Doll lets you use monsters with different levels and turn bricky hands into good ones. These two Link monsters might finally make their respective decks competitively viable. Overall, the box is quite good because of the competitive potential of Mech Knights and Infernoids, both being a fairly cheap deck that has all of their supports in a single box. Mech Knights can also be splashed into other decks for extra materials for extra deck summons. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.